Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. So today we have another good looking puzzle, like always. And this one is called Bank Vault Authentication Code by Will Power. I guess this is our bank vault, and here's our maybe part of the keypad, or this is the wheel that you spin to try to get into our the bank vault. But anyway, you know how I like to try to figure out what everything looks like on these things. So let's just jump into the rules on this thing, because there's not much else to say at this point. So what do we got? We have normal Sudoku apply. So every row, every column, and every 3x3 box contains the digits 1 through 9 once each. Then we've got German whispers, which are the vault handles. Okay, so that is correct. These are the you spin the wheel to open the vault there. Numbers on the green line are at least 5 apart from their neighbors. So whatever this digit is, this digit must be 5 away from it. This has to be 5 away from that one, etc., etc. Then we've got arrows. So numbers on arrows sum to the number in the arrow's circle. The circles in the 4 corner cells of the puzzle are all different than one another. Okay, so there's a little bit of a variant here, or an added stipulation, I guess the better way to put it. So if we look at any of these digits, look at this one. Whatever these 3 digits add up to is what's in here. And then we're being told that these 4 digits are all different. Then we have Kropki pairs. So numbers with a white dot between them are consecutive. And that goes to any of these guys. So these 2 are consecutive, these 2 are consecutive, these 2 are consecutive, etc., etc. So hopefully the rules are pretty straightforward. I made a couple little tweaks to my audio again, so you might be hearing a little bit more background noise to try to reduce any little bits of cutouts and what have you. So hopefully it all works out. Getting tired of changing things to try to fix everything. But anywho, let's jump into this thing and see if we can get started. As usual, the link will be in the description below. So where is the best place to start? Okay, well, let's look at these corners, because we know all of these are 3-cell arrows. So the bare minimums that any of them can be is 6. So these must all be 6 or above. And since there are 4 different values, we know these are all of the 4 digits, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So what else do we have? We also know that all of these are 3-cell, so they have to be from 6, 7, 8, 9. And then if we look at some of the stipulations as to what can work on Kropki dots, we're going to be able to reduce our options here. So what are the only 2 ways that we can make 3 digits add up to 6, 7, 8, or 9 and have all 3 of the digits be consecutive? Well, I think it's going to be 1, 2, 3 to equal 6 and 2, 3, 4 to equal 9. 7 would be 1, 2, 4. That doesn't work. 8 could either be 1, 2, 5 or 1, 3, 4, but neither one works as well. So these 2 have to be from 6 and 9. Now, we can't necessarily say that these are all different like we could here, because there was a special rule given that says these are. These do not abide by that particular rule. Now, on these 2, we do know that 2 of the digits are consecutive. And we do have some other white Kropkis involved. So we may be able to differentiate what these can be. Let's think about that for a second. And we don't necessarily know as well whether these are 2 different digits or they're the same digit, because they very well could be the same digit. So is there anything we can do to reduce options on some of these other ones? Let's think about what we have going on here. If we were to ever put a 6 on here, we said we'd have 1, 2, 3. That would force this to be a 3, this to be a 4. And these could be anything from 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So that seems like it could work. If we had a 7, it would be a 1, 2. This would be a 4. This would be a 3. And again, we have the same concept. Anything from 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. 8, on the other hand, could be 1, 3, 4. This could be 2 or 5. And then we have digits up in the 6, 7, 8, and 9 again. The other option on 8 is 1, 2, 5. So it'd be 1, 2 with the 5. And this could be a couple of things, 3, 4, or 6. But that would leave some possible other options here. Now, I think what we said essentially, though, in all those cases, we do have a 1 on here. But the digit, or the possible digit that will throw a little bit of a spanner in there would be if this was a 2, 3, 4. And it could equal 9. If that was the case, what are we looking at? Because for 2, 3, 4, this has to either be the 2 or the 4. This has to be the 1 or the 5. Again, we're looking at high digits left over. So I think no matter what we say, these are from 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's think about those again, just to make sure I'm not missing anything. 6, 1, 2, 3. These are absolutely 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The 7 would be 1, 2, 4. We obviously couldn't put a 3 on here. So again, this could be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The 8 on the 1, 3, 4. Can't put a 2 on it, so you'd 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 8 at the 1, 2, 5. You couldn't put anything other than 6, 7, 8 to 9, so that's correct. And then the 9s are the other option, where you're looking at possibility of 2, 3, 4, which again, this would be a high digit. Or there are a couple of other ways to make 9s if you're using a 1. So 1, 2, 6. Again, this is a high. Well, that's actually, that's not necessarily true there, is it? Because this could be 3, 4, 5 in that instance. If this was 1, 2, 6. And this could be a 7. So no, we can't necessarily rule out either one of these as being that. Okay. There's a little path to go down. So what do we know again about these guys? They're either 1, 2, 3 or 2, 3, 4. Those are the only options. So therefore, we're sharing 2s and 3s here. Now we have this other set of Kropkis, which can't ever be, or can't ever contain 1, 2, or 3. It would be possible that there's a 4 in one of these, as long as it was, well, it could be here or here, I guess, because it could go 4, 5, 6, 7, something like that. Or this could be a 4, and there could be a 3 here, 4, 5, 6, along those lines. The other options, of course, 9, 8, 7, 6 would be the high end of what these can be. Okay. Now, I think that does put certain digits that are given in here. But whether or not that's going to get us anything further, I'm not quite sure. So what are we looking at next? Let's just put these in. And I guess let's look at it differently. Whichever one is a 6, this is never a 1 or a 4. Same with this one. And it goes for the 9, looking at the back way. So the 2 or the 3 is always here. The 1 and the 3 on the 6 are going to be on the sides. There can never be a 2. And if it's the 9, it would be a 2, 3, 4. So I think those are really our options. Now another thing to look at would be this guy right here, because we know this is an extreme digit, essentially. It's either going to be a 1 or a 9. And that's because it has to have 4 separate digits that are 5 away from it. So it's a 1 or a 9. And of course that pushes these to be either all highs or all lows. And if they were all highs, because of this 2-3 pair, you would know that these would be a 2-3 pair. Now, if that's a 2-3 pair, does that put anything or any pressure on what this was doing? I don't believe it does. Because if I'll just write it in for the visual. If this is a 2-3 pair, we know this is the 9. Now a 6 it's either a 1-2 pair or a 2-3 pair here. What couldn't be the 2-3? So this would be the 1, this would be the 2, and this would be 3. That doesn't affect this. 7 would be 1, 2, 4, so this would be 1, this would be 2, this would be 4. And we can kind of just keep going down that line. So there we are. Okay. Now, thinking about this guy again, we know this can never have a 9 on it. Because if it had a 9, it would be 9, 8, 7. We'd have 2 6s here. These can't have 9s on it. These can't have 9s on it. So one of these is a 9. Now this can't ever be a 9 because I would force an 8, 7. So we know the 9 is off of all of these Kropkis. We also know this can't be 8, 7, 6 because it would again create 2 9s. So therefore there can't be an 8 on this. Okay, maybe this is the way we should have started looking at this. We know there can't be an 8 on any of these. This can't be an 8 because that would be 7, 6. So you're looking at a 9, 8 pair here. Okay. Now if we've got a 9, 8 pair here, this could be a 7, 6, 5, or I think we said one of the possible options would be a 3, 4, 5. We can't ever put a 7 on here, because 7 plus 1 and 2 obviously gets us to 10. So 7 can't go in any of these. 7 can't go here, because again, 6, 5 would break it. So there is a 7 on here. I think what we just said there has to be a 7 on here. We can't have an 8 or 9, so therefore it has to be 7, 6, 5. Okay, there we go. Let's get rid of those. Now if we know these are 5, 6, 7, these have to be from 1, 2, 3, and 4. This can't ever be a 1. This can't ever be a 4. So we're having the same type of situation occur like we did elsewhere. But now we do know that this cannot be a 2, 3 pair. So therefore the 2s and the 3s have to be on the German Whisper. So therefore this is 9. And these have to be from 1, 2, 3, and 4. And these have to be from 5, 6, 7, and 8. We'll put those on there for now, but we'll probably be able to pare these down at another point here. Okay, so if these are 8s and 9s, these are not 8s and 9s, because again, the corners have to all have different digits. So these are 6s and 7s, which means they both have 1s and 2s on them. None of these can have 1s and 2s on them, so this has a 1 and a 2 on it. Can we take that any further? Now, I can't necessarily say that these are 1, 2. In this pair, I don't believe. Can we? The interaction with this white Kropki here is interesting, because this could very well be a 1. That would force us to be a 2, 3, or actually it wouldn't. If this is a 1, it could be... No, this would be 2, 3, 4. This is a 4. This does end up being 3, 2, 1. Does 2 and or 3 work here? Because I think we certainly could. We could have this be a 3, this go up to a 4, and back down to 3 and 2. Same would go for the 2. It could just go back down to the 1 and then back up again. Okay. Okay, so we know those and those. Again, we kind of have a little bit of information we could put in here, but I'm not quite sure it's exactly what we need just yet. It might be, though. Well, we know the 1s and the 2s can't pair in either one of these, because it would force a 1 and a 2 on the other side. So we know that these are just a straight up 1, 2 pair. And then one of the 1s and one of the 2s share this row. Therefore, these are from 1, 2, 3, and 4. Which tells us this is from 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. This can never be 5 or 9. I think that means this has to have a 6 and a 7 on it. Is that correct? No, just a 6. Because it's either going to be 9, 8, 7, which leaves 5 and 6 on the sides, or it could be 5, 6, 7, which leaves 8 and 9 on the sides, or it could be something in between, 6, 7, 8. So there is always a 7 on this thing, which means these are not. Now, no, we can't quite reduce this anymore. I feel like we're right on the edge of this, getting this thing to start moving forward here. But we've got to figure something else out, I think, with some of these other digits. Now, I guess here's what we can do. We know these are 1, 2, 3, and 4. We know that we therefore have a 1, 2, 3, 4 quad going on with these guys. And that just means 5, 6, 7s, 8s, and 9s. These can't be 8 or 9. So these have to be from 5, 6, or 7. It's not as useful as I hoped it would be. still think we're gonna have these be fairly high digits. But if there's enough information there to say if they're 5, 6, 7, 8, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 6, 7, 8, 9. So we know this is a 1, 2 with something else. It could be a 3 to be 6. It could be a 4 to be 7. It cannot be a 5 to be 8, because we... No, it could be. It could be a 5 to be 8, because we aren't required to have a 5 on this. And it could very well be a 6 as well, because we're not required... Well, no, it can't be a 6. That we can say, because if there was a 6 on here, it would mean this would be a 1, 2, 6 equals 9. Well, the 6 on here forces this to be 9, but the 1, 2, 6 forces this to be a 9, so there's no 6 on here. So we know there's a 6 on this guy now. So now we know there's a 6 and a 7. So there's no 9. It's either 5, 6, 7 or 6, 7, 8. Okay. This can't be an 8. This is fairly slowly paring things down. I'm sure there's something that might have moved things along a little quicker. We have tons of 1, 2, 3, 4 quads all across the place here at the moment. Let's look, I guess, across this line again. Can we get anything out of it? See, things we can't really, because we can't say that any of the higher digits can't. Well, no, I guess we can. We know that there can't be a 7 on one of these, so one of these two is 7. Now the 6, on the other hand, could still go on one of these two, because it could be a 6, 1, 2. Why don't we just do the easy stuff first? This is 6. I know it's been sitting there, but I don't think it really... Oh, it does actually do something, because this becomes a 7. Therefore, these don't have a 5 on them. So we get a 5, 9 pair. Now we can remove 6 and 7. Therefore, we can remove 5 and 8. Okay, that actually did do more than I thought it would, just taking a look at that guy. So we know these are from 1, 2, 3, and 4. We know this can't be 1 or 2. We know there can't be a 6 on here anymore. Well, we said that previous, that's how we got to this. So we know this can't equal 9. So that would be the only way we can get to 9. 1, 2 plus 6. Let's get rid of that 6. Okay. Now, in this row, in relation to this column with our Kropkis, this digit can't be a 1 for obvious reason. You can't put a 2 on both sides. It can't be 2 or 3. It's either 4, 5, or 8. What can we use with that? I'm sure there's varying options. If this was a 4, that forces a 3 into one of these positions. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4. We cannot put a 3, so this is not a 4. So we're looking at 5 or 8. Now, bring it down to 2 different possibilities is much nicer. And if this is a 5, we put a 4 on one of these 2 sides. It's going to have to be down here. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if this is a 5, this is a 4. This is 6 and 7, like that. Nothing there seems to be interacting with it. This is an 8. This has to be a 9. 8, 7, 6. So this is a 6, 7 pair, which means this is 9. Therefore, this is a 2, 3, 4. So the 3 has to go in the middle. That 9 is removing this from being a 9. Again, we don't know that this is, well, we do know it actually, because if this was a 9, it would have to also be a 2, 3, 4, and the 3's would conflict. So this is 6. So we know this is 2. We get rid of the 4 and the 2. It's a 1, 3 pair. So this is not 1, 2, or 3. It's 4. This is not 2, 3, or 4. It's 1. These are not 1s or 4s. Okay, there we go. 2, 4 pair puts a 9 here. So 8, 7, 6, 7, 6. This is a 1, 2, 3. This is a 1, 2, 4. And do we have anything else then? This can't be 6. There cannot be a 6 on here anymore because we've pulled the possibility of a 1 off of it. We can also say this is not a 6 or 9. So going back to that concept, if we were to put a 6 on here, it would have to be 6, 1, 2 to equal 9. We cannot do that anymore. So there is no 6 on any of these. And by Sudoku, we see the rest of them. So this is 6. That 9 just gives us a 5 here. And we end up with a 7, 8 pair here, but there's a 7. So this is 7. This is 8. Now we know this is a 1, 2, 4. This has to be the 2. And if it's the 2, it has to be consecutive with the 1. So this has to be our 4. This has to be a 3. This has to be a 4. This has to be a 1. Has to be consecutive with a 2. Get rid of those. And we can get rid of 2's down here. And we can get rid of 4's over here. Making sure I'm not missing any basic Sudoku stuff. What can this be? It's either a 4 or a 5. And it can't be a 4, so it's a 5. Okay. Which means this is 8. That 5 goes down here to 7 and 5. That 7 sees the 6, 7. It's a 5, 8 pair. These can't be 1s as well, so which means this can't be a 3. So it's a 1, 2 pair. This is a 3, 4 pair. These 2 digits are 3 and 9. Is there anything looking up at them at the moment? Doesn't appear to be. But now we know what all of this is except for this digit. So this one therefore must be a 5, which gives this as a 9. That therefore has to be a 7. Good. 1, 2, 4, this has to be a 3. And these have to be, what, 4 and 7? Let's put those in. And we do have a 1, 2, 3, 4 across all of these. This 3, we can't, well, we can do something with it. If this is a 3 and this was a 2, this would have to be a 3. This was a 3 and this was a 4, this would have to be a 3. So that's always a 3. So we can put those in and that's going to clean this up. And that's going to give us our 1s and 2s, and 3 and 1. And those add up to 6, those add up to 7, those add up to 9, those add up to 8. So this actually did end up having 4 different digits, although at the very beginning we couldn't quite say that. The 6 here sees the 8 and the 6. And the 8 sees this one, so this is 9 and 8, and that 9 sees this one, 3 and 9. Okay. Now what? Well, we can't have a 1 on here, so this is a 2, 3, 4. We know that, so that's not 3. And actually, that's not 3, so this is, that forces this to be 2. This is 9. This is 8. We've got these as 1 and 5, which adds together. These two have to be from 5 and 8, and we have an 8 here, so 5, 8. These have to be 3 and, 9? Let's put those in. This cannot be a 3, because we cannot put a 2 or a 4 here. So therefore, this is 9. This is 3. That forces this to be 8. This is 5. This is 8. And we are starting to come down to the wire here, which is good. Took me a little while to get started on this thing, or to get to the point where I'm moving forward, but it finally worked out. These are 6 and 7. There's a 7 here. 6, 7. That 7 does see the 4, 7. And we can kind of continue on the process in either the regions, rows, columns, whatever. These have to be from 1 and 5. And there's a 1 here. So 1, 5. This is not 1. There has to be a 1 of those two. We know that already. There has to be a 4 in one of those. No, we know that. There has to be a 3 in one of these 3. We have a 3 down there. Okay, so let's get rid of that. Do that. All right, let's do these couple of digits now. They are 4 and 5. So this is 5. This is 4 by Sudoku, which means this is 1 and 5. That 1 sees the 2 and the 1. The 1 sees the 2. 2 sees this one. So that's what that ends up being. These are 2 and 4, and we should just be able to finish these last 2 digits and be done with this thing. We need to put a 6 in here and a 9 in here. It says the puzzle does not include solution, so I'll have to do the new link here in a second. I pulled this one up a little while ago. By that I mean just earlier today. So since the time that I've pulled this up and the new link being created with the solution that has occurred. So anyway, I will go back and put the new link in like usual. But as always, this was a wonderful puzzle. Again, Bank Vault Authentication Code by Willpower. Like I said, it took me a minute to get started to figure out where the first little in was to get things moving. But once it did that, things just really took off. So again, wonderful puzzle. Really enjoyed it. Hope you all did as well. I'll see you in the next one.